Welcome back, everyone. You remember the name Andrew McCabe. This was the chief of the FBI. He was part of everything wrong with the FBI, the weaponization of that organization, the hunting down of President Trump with bogus witnesses, and so much more. Well, he has the audacity to come out and declare this if President Trump wins.
People are really trying to assess, like, what is life going to be like if Donald Trump wins a second term? And on a very personal level, I mean, these are torturous discussions with their family members about whether or not they have to leave the country to avoid being unconstitutionally and illegally detained. I mean, people are actually worried about being thrown in jail or grabbed in some sort of extrajudicial detention. And I think, as crazy as this sounds in the United States of America, I think people should really consider.
What else do you think conservatives are worried about? We're now told 1,000 more J6ers who didn't even go into the building or could be possibly rounded up. He's worried about FBI agents going to jail. The only FBI agents that are going to go to jail are if you did something wrong and illegal. Nobody's going to be persecuted, rounded up, and thrown in jail just because you support Joe Biden or Barack Obama. But here's the problem. 8 years of Barack Obama, President Trump's 4 years could not root out what they created inside the FBI, which was a disastrous beast of a liberal organization that is so entwined with the deep state that it was very hard to write. I don't believe that you need to start over with the FBI, but I believe you need to rebuild it. All right? Breaking it down, doing away with it isn't going to work. Rebuilding it from the inside with the right people put at the helm, firing all of the top brass there, would be a great start. All right, turning now to what's going on in Israel. I saw this video of pictures, actually, of tunnels inside a child's bedroom. Those are Hamas tunnels. This is how low they stoop. They will literally use children as shields. And sadly, many of the Palestinians gladly offer up their children as human shields because they believe they're martyrs. This is a war that has to be won by Israel. Hamas will never stop until it is totally wiped out. Well, joining me now to discuss this and what's going on across the country with the anti-Israel, pro-Hamas support, I want to bring in foreign policy expert. He's a board member of Columbia University's School of International and Public Affairs. Harley Lippman is back with us. Harley, great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Harley, let's start. Last time you were on, Columbia was ground zero for all of these protests. Have you had any conversation since with administration at Columbia about what went down and how upset you were about it?
Yes, I have, and it's disappointing. They just are not dealing with it. They are, I think they're intimidated by the protesters. They maybe sympathize with them on a certain level. And I think they just can't get their head around that Jewish students are being attacked. And I think a lot of people have seen Jews as being such a successful group of people that they just find it hard to believe that they could be victims now. But Jews are being victims because they're being attacked physically and verbally around the world.
Well, it's saddening to see what has happened here. I never thought in my lifetime I'd ever see what I'm seeing around the world, specifically in America right now with this. Let me play a clip for you. This is Rashida Tlaib. She is a radical leftist Democrat who I believe she actually despises Jewish people and the state of Israel. Roll cut 6 for me.
You're not going to move. You know you can go around. You know you can go around. Guys, come on. Sir, you're not a student here. Sir, you're not even a student here.
Don't tell me what I'm not.
I know, but you've been coming over here.
I don't need you to talk to me.
Family man is not going to be discussed.
So to explain what's going on here, Rashida Tlaib, a sitting member of Congress, is telling police to go around a group of pro-Hamas protesters. This is insanity, Harvey.
It is insanity, but I will tell you, I am hopeful to hear you and your voice speaking out against this, so it gives me hope. But it is a horrible thing. First off, about half the people who are protesting are not students. They're professional agitators. They're anarchists. They're self-proclaimed communists. They're people who hate America. And remember, it starts with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. The Jews are the canary in the coal mine. So when you said a moment ago that you couldn't imagine in your lifetime, you'd see this. I concur with you. I have the same thoughts. So I think the best way to look at this is to think of, we're at 1935. You want to know what it feels like before a big war and a Holocaust? If we ever went back in time and you'd imagine what you would do, this is the closest thing to it. We're back at 1935, and with everything we've learned, let's hope we do the right thing, stand up to our enemies, and we will get peace through victory, because the only way you get resolution in war is when one side defeats the other and the other side surrenders. And then you get closure, and then you get peace. Yeah. The best example is World War II, the two, right? Germany and Japan.
And God forbid we ever get to that place. I don't want to be there. And I hate to make everything about politics, but much of this stuff does come down to politics. I don't know any Republicans that have taken the side of Hamas. I certainly know some Democrats that have taken the side of Israel, like surprising Democrats like the Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania. But I don't know any Republicans that have taken the side of Hamas. I feel like the Democrats are on the wrong side of this. And I'm going to say this respectfully because I've asked you, I know you probably love Columbia University, and I ask you to tell me what's going on there. You are a Democrat strategist as well. What is happening to your party here? What do you tell them?
It's very disappointing. It's really disappointing. I agree with you. It's a shock to the system to find this is among the liberal progressives in particular. But what's so extraordinary about it is that their core beliefs are completely contrary to everything Hamas stands for. Hamas is anti-gay, anti-women, they're anti-freedom of the press, they're anti-freedom of religion, they're corrupt, they're a dictatorship, they're radical Islamist. On every level, progressives should be want to be against Hamas. So it really speaks to, I think, a level of anti-Semitism that people are not in touch with, an unconscious anti-Semitism, that they would side with Hamas, who crossed the border into Israel. Israel's not occupying Gaza. There wasn't one Jew in Gaza on October 7th when they crossed the border to slaughter Jews, rape women, torture them. And I would say to you that in certain ways they're actually worse than the Nazis. Why? One, because the Nazis tried to hide their crimes. They were somewhat ashamed of it. The Hamas people are proud of it. They had videotaped it and they show it off. Second, the Nazis not only tried to hide their crimes, but they tried to kill as many Jews as quickly as possible, where Hamas was trying to kill them as slowly as possible because they wanted to torture them. And just to give you a sense of the evil of Hamas, I just came back from Israel, and I was with a group there, a lot of leading American political figures in the Republican Party. And we went around and we went to the Nova Music Festival, which is where people who are enjoying a music festival for peace were slaughtered by Hamas. The reason why I'm bringing that up is when you go to this music festival, it's a memorial now, you see hundreds of cars because people drove there and they were trying to get away. And you see bullet holes in about half the cars. The other half of the cars are completely burned to a crisp. So I asked the Israelis there to explain that to me. And they said the Hamas fighters had this fire accelerant, that when they shot up a family in a car, they would throw the accelerant in the car so it would set off a huge flame and it would burn their bodies to ashes. Why? They wanted to send a symbolic message to the Jews that the way Hitler turned the bodies of Jews into ashes in the crematoria of Auschwitz, Hamas is going to do the same thing to Jews in Israel.
I've been saying this for a very long time, and many others have too. Hamas, radical Islam, it is evil, and it is the work of the devil. And it's not just Jews. If you don't subscribe to radical Islamic way of thinking, they want all of us dead, including other Muslims, by the way. And I think you're right that I don't understand Democrats that don't see this, but we're short on time. Harley Lippman, I appreciate you coming on today and talking about a tough subject, but it's always great having you on the program.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be on your program. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you're certainly welcome back anytime. All right, folks, for 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They've been great supporters of this show, which is why I'm proud to partner with them here, my podcast, my radio show, you name it. Patriot Mobile is with me. I want you to be with them. They offer dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all three major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, our military, first responders. They're 100% U.S.-based customer service team. Yes, U.S.-based. Makes switching super easy. Keep your phone, keep your number, upgrade, get a new phone. They'll help you do it all. No problem there, okay? Just go to patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT. patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT. You get free activation when you use the offer code RAV. Join me. Make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/RAV 972-PATRIOT. Tell them Grant Stinchfield sent you. One of our own on RAV is being politically persecuted. We'll tell you about that next.